there everyone, welcome to Buddy Up Gaming. I'm Marvin, and today we're diving into something that's bound to bring some serious family fun. Mario Kart 8 Deluxe on the Nintendo Switch. If you're new to the Switch, or maybe eyeing that upcoming Switch 2 release, this is the perfect game for introducing your little ones to gaming, or brushing up on your skills for the next Mario Kart installment. Now let me tell you, this game is a blast, and a total crowd pleaser. Mario Kart 8 lets up to 8 players race or battle it out on some of the most vibrant, creative tracks you've ever seen. Whether you're playing with your kids, racing against the computer, or even teaming up for a fun family competition, there's something here for everyone. The cool part? You can race with characters from the entire Nintendo universe, from Mario and Luigi to Link and Donkey Kong. Mario Kart is easy to pick up, even for little gamers who haven't played a video game before. The controls are straightforward, so they can get the hang of it in no time, and it's all about fun, not about being perfect at every race. Plus, the crashes and silly animations when characters are hit by obstacles or power-ups are more goofy than scary, making it totally family friendly. No need to worry about any violent or intense content, it's just pure harmless fun. Alright, let's make sure the kiddos have the best possible experience when they dive into their first race in Mario Kart 8. While the game is super easy to pick up, there are some awesome features that can really help your little ones get the hang of things and feel like racing pros right away. There are multiple settings you can adjust to make the game even more accessible, and I'm here to break down some of the best options to help ease them into the game. Trust me, these little tweaks can make all the difference and turn that learning curve into an absolute breeze. So, let's get them revved up and ready to race. Alright, here's a tip that'll make a huge difference for your kids as they get started. It all happens right at the selection screen, when you're choosing your kart, wheels, and paraglider. Now, here is where you'll want to press the plus or minus button on your controller to open up a special menu that includes 3 key settings that will totally change the game for your little ones. Let's break it down. First up, there's a setting on the left side that's like a built-in safety net for your kiddo. This one keeps them from veering off the track. What does it do? Well, every time their kart starts to drift off course, it gives a little push to guide them back towards the center. Think of it like training wheels for Mario Kart. This is perfect for beginners because learning how to control the kart and navigating through turns can be pretty tricky. Using this is like using bumpers in a bowling alley. The setting makes mistakes way more forgiving, so kids can focus on having fun and not worrying about going off track. Even once your kids get the hang of things, I recommend leaving it on for a while. Only turn it off if they're craving a little extra challenge or want to explore tricky shortcuts that require going off track. Next, there is the option on the right side. It makes sure your kid's kart always accelerates, even when they're not pressing the gas button. It's a huge help because it takes away the need to constantly hold down that accelerator while also focusing on turns and picking up items. This is all about making racing less stressful and letting them focus on the fun part, going around the track and using those power-ups. I absolutely recommend leaving the setting on, especially when they're just starting out. Finally, there's the option in the middle. This one comes into play if you're using a single Joy-Con as a controller, which is pretty common if you've got a bigger group. It lets players tilt the Joy-Con left or right to steer, kind of like the old school Wii days with the steering wheel. Here's my advice, turn this off. Even though it sounds cool, it can be pretty confusing for beginners. The joystick is way easier to control, and trying to use both the joystick and the tilting to steer can end up being really disorienting. So there you go. These settings are a simple but powerful way to make the game easier and more fun for your kids. And they'll help them get the hang of Mario Kart even faster. Give them a try and watch your little racers zoom around with confidence. Alright, now here's a super helpful tip for your first few races in Mario Kart 8 Deluxe. skip the Grand Prix, and go straight for Versus mode. This racing mode is perfect for easing into the game because it gives you a lot more control over your experience and helps smooth out that learning curve. In Versus mode, you get to choose the track for each race. And for those just starting out, I recommend sticking with the earlier tracks from the Mushroom, Crossing, or Shell Cups. Why? These courses focus on the basics, boost pads, ramps, and flying through the air, but they also don't have any crazy turns or nerve-wracking obstacles. It's all about keeping things simple and fun while your kids get used to the controls. But here's where it gets even better. You can also adjust the difficulty of the computer racers. Keep it on easy while your kids are still getting the hang of things. You want them to feel like they're winning, having fun, not getting frustrated by tough competition. And here's one of my personal favorites, Team Mode. Activating Team Mode and putting all your kiddos on the same team lets you control which items they can use without giving the opposing team those same advantages. So for example, if your kids just want to focus on learning how to aim shells, you can just activate triple green shells and watch them get to work, throwing shells everywhere and having a blast. It's also a fantastic way to set up silly matches just for the fun of it. One of my go-to tricks, enabling only bullet bills for your team and playing on Baby Park. It's total chaos, but in the best way. Yeah, no real skill required, just laugh out loud moments as you and your teammates zoom across the track, plowing through anything your way. Trust me, it's hilarious. So whether you're focusing on building skills or just having a great time, Versus mode with these tweaks will make the game even more enjoyable for everyone in the family. Now, setting up your first few races in this manner is often enough to get your kids through the learning curve of the game and into that zone where you can just play hours at a time without even noticing it. For me, this was definitely the case with my eldest. I'll never forget his first experience. He was playing the demo console at Best Buy, and let's just say he didn't exactly start strong. He came in dead last in his first match and didn't break past 6th place in the next several races. But with these tweaks, he really started to get the hang of the controls and the flow of the game. Suddenly, he was regularly finishing in the top 3. It was amazing to watch his progress, and it didn't take long for him to be totally hooked. Now, my youngest had a very different experience. When she picked up the game a few years later, she really struggled with the ranking system. She became obsessed with where she was placed during a race and got frustrated every time she made a mistake and saw her position drop. After just 2 races, her frustration was so high that it killed all her motivation to keep playing. And I could see she just wasn't having the same fun I had with my eldest. Now, I know there's value in letting kids face failure and build resilience. But let's be real, when you're short on time and want to keep the fun rolling, sometimes a little help goes a long way. So what did I do? I came up with what I like to call the enforcer strategy. What this involved was simple. I would hang back just one spot behind her in the race. Then, I'd arm up on items, like red shells and bananas, and strategically take out any computer player who tried to pass her. By keeping the computer racers in check, I made sure that my youngest didn't get passed immediately whenever she made a mistake. This let her practice steering, boosting, and using items without the added stress of losing spots if she made a mistake. I know, it's not the most fair way to play, but hear me out, it worked. This strategy wasn't about winning for me, it was about making sure she could focus on building her skills without feeling defeated by her mistakes. And I only used this until she had mastered the basics, learned some of the easier tracks, and was confident enough to race without needing that extra help. Once she got there, it was game on, and she started enjoying it just like my eldest. So, if you find yourself in a similar situation with your kids, this strategy could be a helpful way to keep the fun going while giving them the space to learn and grow. Plus, it's a great bonding experience for you both if you really lean into that enforcer persona. Alright, so once your kids are feeling pretty comfortable with their racing skills in Mario Kart 8 Deluxe, there are some fun little tweaks you can make to keep things fresh and exciting. First up, let's talk about decking out your kart. By now, your kids will have probably noticed the coins they've been collecting after each race. Those coins unlock a whole bunch of cool new karts, wheels, and paragliders. At first, you'll probably want to stick with the default options, because they're great for learning the basics. But once your little ones have the hang of things, it's time to mix it up. Trust me, they'll love picking out a new ride to show off. My wife, for example, loves using Boo, because let's face it, his boastful demeanor when crossing the finish line is hilariously obnoxious. Seriously, watch how he acts when he wins. It's hard not to laugh. So, encourage your kids to experiment with different setups and have fun customizing their karts to suit their personalities. Now that your kids have the basics down, instead of just aiming for first place in every race, you can create some alternate objectives to make things more interesting. Specific tracks are perfect for practicing things like drifting and tricks. For example, my eldest and I love racing around Excite Bike Arena, where we focus on seeing how many tricks we can land off the ramps. It's a fun way to practice the mechanics while also having a blast. We also like playing Baby Park on 200cc, using only triple bananas as items. Sure, it's a great way to practice drifting, but let's be honest, it's mostly about the chaos and laughs. So get creative with your racing goals and see who can come up with the wildest challenges. When you're ready to take a break from traditional racing, Battle Mode is the way to go. This mode gives you a chance to exercise those racing skills in a totally different way. Whether you're collecting the most coins in 5 minutes or playing a crazy game of cops and robbers, it's a fun alternative to regular racing. But a quick heads up, Battle Mode is a bit more intense. Since there are no handicap options like in regular races, it's best to wait until your kids have really mastered the basics before jumping into this mode. Trust me, it can be a bit much for beginners, but once they've got the hang of racing, it's a great way to switch things up and keep the fun going. I really hope these tips help you kickstart your kids' journey into the world of Mario Kart 8 Deluxe. It's such an incredible game, with endless replayability, and the freedom to add your own twists and challenges really keeps things fresh. Whether you're racing through courses, taking down enemies in battle mode, or just having a good laugh over crazy moments, this is a game that can keep you and your kids coming back for more. Before I wrap up, I wanted to leave you with a suggested gaming session link. Because as much as we all love gaming, it's important to moderate playtime. For Mario Kart 8, I usually recommend sticking to about 4 versus races or 1 Grand Prix, followed by a battle session where you play each of the 5 modes one time. Doing this will keep players on their toes while also ensuring that everyone gets to enjoy their favorite part of the game. Plus, it's a great way to mix things up and avoid burnout. Now, I'd love to hear from you. How do you make Mario Kart more fun for your family? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. I'd love to know your strategies. And if you found this video helpful, please leave a like and don't forget to follow me at Buddy Up Gaming for more family-friendly gaming tips. Until next time, happy racing, and I'll see you all soon.